Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 423rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, March 10th, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host today, once again, in these weekly teaching series. And once again, we have the pleasure to be joined by Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be presenting today's workshop. So hello, Mr. Keshe, how are you today?
Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers from the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute programs of teaching. Today is another day where we add to the knowledge and we try to realize and find out more in how things progress, how we come to be what we are, what is the pattern of the creation, what dictates life, and how can we replicate life? What is the secret of existence? And where to and where do we look for the pattern of life? Is it conditioned to the man, to the life of the man? Or is it conditioned to the whole operation of the universe? Haven't we up to now looked at two separate systems, or we never understood one system in another? Have we come to, in a way, become more materialistic and just look at what we see and what we touch? And we understood part of it, but we never understood this is the pattern of creation. The whole subject and teaching of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute is a ship which is in space. In the olden days, you called it the boat of Noah, collecting of every animal to travel and then to land in a place, the perfect example of every animal in pairs, that life can continue. But in fact, isn't that boat or the ship of Noah the spaceship which man is trying to create today? To take the best examples, the perfect examples of the creation on this planet to the other destination. In a way, when you land with the citizens of Earth on another planet, you land from the boat of Noah. Which means we have come with the knowledge that we can travel the space of the universe. We come from the point where we know how to handle ourselves to be part of the process of the creation, to be within the process of creation. We have talked about this in the past. We have tried to elaborate on this topic in different ways and directly in the past. How do we create life? How do we sustain life? Be it a cell in the body of the man, the life of man on this planet, or the life of a galaxy or a solar system. As we never had the knowledge, we never looked at it. But in essence, this process of the creation is the same. The process of the life is the same. In the body of the man, when you look at the structure of a kidney in a specific position and condition, we see three layers. We look at the intestine, the wall of the intestine, we see three layers. We look at the body of the man, the skin of the man has three layers. Then the bigger size, in a bigger dimension, the solar system has again three layers. A galaxy has three layers. And we always looked at what we saw as it is, and we elaborated on it. Because when you become a cell on your own, when you become the body of the man on its own, You need a layer to protect you from outside fields that it doesn't interact with what you create inside. Then you create an intermediary section where allows the fields which are accepted by the inner side and outer side to leak out or to be absorbed, to be within the position and the place that becomes the connection point, interface between the out and in. And then you have the inner part, which means I work with what the energies are within the structure. I don't let the blood to go out. I keep the veins in, I keep the muscles in. And then we see this pattern repeats again. We have the same thing. We have the same structure in the solar system. When the knowledge of the man becomes extended, that he can understand the operation of the solar system, as I have explained in the book number 4 about the creation of solar system, we see the same 3 layers. Us as planetary system, us as a sun, us as part of what we see is in the inner shell. It's within the inner part, inner skin. So when we want to travel beyond the dimensions of the solar system, we need to understand the intermediary phase, and then we have to understand the outer phase, the string fields that stops the cosmic rays of the different orders to penetrate to the middle, to come inside, and the same side keeps everything in. Now, if you understand this, we come to the point to understand further, how do we create this? What is the condition? What is the need? How can we have a 3 layer in the intestine of the man, and we have a 3 layers on the skin of the man, or within the kidney of the man, or within the solar system? Who decides it? What condition brings that position of deciding what the strength to be? Can we put the 3 layer strength of the skin of the man on a kidney? Or can we create the strength of the fields of the 3 layers of the solar system within the skin of the man? It doesn't fit. Horses for courses. And then the environment decides what are the skin going to be and what is the purpose of it in respect to the others as they interact with each other. When the body of the man was created, it wasn't just, oh, we make a stomach and that's it. And then, oh, we need a liver. Oh, we need something to store what goes through it. So you had to eat continuously because you had nowhere to store. Then it came to innovation of the fat, or changing the fields that the inner system can absorb. We call it lymph system. Or was it all created according to the process of the creation, that everything needed and one part could bring the other part together? In the world of science today, in the world of medicine, we say the blood comes through the kidney and the kidney filters and cleans up and then it sends what is not needed. Isn't the fact upside down? Isn't the reality from what we've seen today, and we understand more about the creation and the process of life? Kidney gets most of the energy which it does not needed by the body through the lymph, through its body inside. Blood supplies part of it, not all of it. We have accepted some dogmas about the process of life that we have got stuck with it. Why is the position of the kidneys in such a place in the body of the man? Why the liver always positions itself near the intestines or nearby? Why doesn't the liver appears in the outer extremities of the body of the man, where your reproduction services are, or where your hip is? Why the 3 layers of the liver works in a way of the 3 absorption systems of the totality of what comes. The present world of medicine tells us, or the present knowledge of biology tells us, that the surplus materials are stored by the blood in the liver of the man. Yes, 20% of what goes in the liver. The liver sits on top of the stomach, top of the intestine, and absorbs directly the energy transfers and converts them into the energy matter state of what is needed inside. Once the world of science understands this, you will come to understand you can take any energy as long as it has a heartbeat and it has a what we call intellect. This entity and intellect can be created in a physical dimension anywhere in the universe. We call this center point the soul of the man. So when we send the soul of the man, we transmute the soul from Earth to Moon, to Mars, to Jupiter. It will not look like a man the way with 2 legs and 2 arms, unless we put it in a monkey suit as the NASA does, and we lock him in, that's the way we want to keep it. Then we'll see man will transform himself according to the condition and can live everlasting life. We say in the beautiful poetry of Farsi, means if you don't want to stand out, become part of it. Then you won't be noticed. With the body of the man, now you see Americans landed and we see a hopping man. Would we, when we go onto Moon and Mars, will hop like a man? The scientific data on traveling the span of the universe tells me no. Man will not look like a man as we see on the planet Earth. Man will look the way the soul of the man can exist in the dimension of physicality, what the environment of the moon allows it to be. Otherwise, you're like on a life support machine, the monkey suit. To transit and transform and to transmute between one and the other, it becomes a trust of the man in his own existence. What happened when you get to the moon and you decide you want to go to the Mars? Would the intellect of the human race and other races will reach to the point that by the school of thoughts, by the elevation of the understanding the emotion of the soul, you can decide the destination. You become aware of the existence and the dimension of the life in other positions and dimensions. Isn't this what the sperm and egg does in the womb of the mother? And according to energy absorbed, the tap hole becomes child. According to the fields which the mother has created within the womb. Doesn't this go back to what we call it DNA or RNA, and we want to confirm it, but isn't that energy seed, the egg and the sperm which they make the soul of the man, then becomes that cup with the orange outside? Isn't the orange the beauty of the existence of the mother? And the cup is the sperm and the egg which have created the new dimension of existence within the womb of the mother. If mankind understands this, and this is the reason all this knowledge in a simpler way has been transformed and transferred to the knowledge of the man and the rest of the creation in the universe, understand this, then we come to understand if that soul, that energy field which is created, can replicate the structure of the physicality of the gans of the mother, wouldn't that soul do the same, replicate the soul of the creator with it? where the creator becomes that orange, and the rest of the creation become different cups across the universe that blows the wind, the soul of the creator within it. So the soul of the man is pure. That's the soul of the creator. It's the condition of the environment of the physicality, which makes to have arms and legs and feet and be jelly or whatever. And then to live, you decide what you absorb. And in the case of human race, to kill and to destroy, to add to the what we call feel the strength of the life of. We accept one, but we do not extend the knowledge to accept the totality. And this is what I always said, man accepts my knowledge according to his intellect, according to his own understanding and acceptance of the totality of the creation. And you create that soul. When you transfer that soul from the earth to the moon, now it has to create 3 layers with itself that it can exist. How thin that the skin is going to be, how thick that is going to be, what kind of pressure is going to accept dictates the shape that you manifest yourself at that point. But in essence, you still have within you the field replication of the soul of the creator within the soul of the man. I made man in the image of myself. Now you have an orange. You still get the taste, the flavor, the beauty of the whole earth. Now we understand. Now we comprehend. Now we come to be part of the totality. We've been part of the creator. We've been part of the creation. We've been part of the process of the existence. And that 3 layer is where the soul of the man can create the dimension of existence, hold on to the dimension of the soul as it is within the soul of the creator, the intermediary that he can receive and give. And what I cannot handle, I'll put a jacket on, I'll call it the ultimate, where you can hold and make it water resistance, I make it field resistance to the field of the universe. When we wear the skin of the man, we just say, oh, the water runs off the skin. But in a coming time when the scientists look how much fields of this solar system, this planet, that our body doesn't want to absorb, and we see it repelling. And how much of it gets absorbed within, because the body of man calls upon for it to exist. That cell in the liver of the man, that cell in the kidney of the man, does not receive the fields all it needs to exist from what man eats, but it needs it from different dimensions of the fields of the universe, because it's still filtering part of the universal energy within it, not just what you see as a liver content, as what you have become to realize to be. As the cell of the liver. In that cell of the liver is the fields of the radiation, the fields of the strength of the universe within it, which body of the man needs to hold on to. We say we hold vitamin C and vitamin D in the liver when we need it, we call it, the body calls upon it to be there, and it will deliver us. But there's an extension. If we accept that the body of the man takes 20% of the food and 80% from the environment, so liver has to have the same functionality to be able to take out that 80% after use which the body of the man doesn't need in the dimension of the liver. Liver is not just for the physical dimension, it's for the extra fields of the universe which the body of the man needs. Now that we come to the space technology, we have to understand is that we can allow the life to appear at the time, position, space where it needs to be, where it has to be, that it can confirm the existence of the soul of the man. In the coming time, what we give you, as we said before, as the enhancement unit flight system, would it have any physical dimension? Would it have any physical manifestation? Or we walk into the space given, we believe is the space where the system is, and through it we go through a transformation, and we connect the universal field of strength to be able to travel the span of the universe. As we said in the last teachings, where we change the carbon connection fields of the carbon 12 to carbon 14, where we become from matter state in the universal field of strength, transmutation, and transportation. Then it comes to the point that if I create two layers, then the soul of the man will become the third part. Then the soul of the man will become a dimension of the existence of the totality of the energies which is needed for transportation to the point and the destination of the field strength of the soul of the man through the emotion of the soul, and not through the emotion of the soul of physicality, in the dimension of understanding the totality of the existence in the universe. When you travel from Earth to planet Zeus, dimensions of strength are different, and the brain of the man cannot exist. The amino acid becomes transparent, it becomes dissolved, it becomes non-existence. Where are you going to find the emotion? Except if you understood, it's the emotion of the soul that then decides the position, time, and the place. And the soul of the man has the knowledge of the universe within it, as is that water, which receives its beauty from the orange. That orange is the knowledge of the Creator, which knows all, as He has created all. As then man understands there is no for intermediary, I go to the Pope and ask, how do I use my soul? Which strength do I need to go to planet Zeus? As the Pope himself has no idea of the existence of the planet Zeus. How can you ask a blind man to tell you the beauty of the light? How, in the process of the present religions, you want to understand the upcoming the knowledge of the man in the extension of existence, unless the man itself becomes knowledgeable to the totality of the knowledge through the soul and creation of his soul, and understanding is the image, is that water in the cup which receives the knowledge and totality from the Creator. In a way, in the new enhancement units which we use for travel, we create that two layers to allow the soul of the man to expand beyond the boundaries. Now, the boundary is the fields of the containment and not the skin of the man. In a way, we put you through a condition that you go through the sleep. You go through the condition that you allow by reducing, changing the strength of the field of the soul of physicality, and the blood flow allows your soul to expand beyond its physicality and go see the uncle, the cousin, and the next door neighbor, and go to the planetary system it's never been according to your understanding of the images you remember when you wake up. As I said in other teachings, we allow by creation of the double layers, we make that transition and transformation for you. All it is to allow the soul to go beyond the expansion of the skin of the man. And then, do I need to transmute and transport the physicality of the man, where every cell has a soul, and in essence, is again that water in that cup, and the soul of the man is the orange in that essence. Now you understand the process of the development of the new enhancement unit. We done nothing more except replicating, understanding, and digesting and processing the knowledge of the creation that we understand up to now. But this is not the end. This is just the beginning of what the knowledge of the man is going to learn and understand in the upcoming time, that the what we call cycle of life in the dimension of physicality and energy fields of the body of the man become the essence, the source, the beginning of allowing what is kept as a soul within it to open up, to become the most beautiful flower in the world of the creation of the creator, become the center, the seed of another life, another planetary system, another sun. We understand the totality of the knowledge, but now we have to be able to replicate it, that we don't even need the enhancement units. We rely on the strength of the soul of the man to create that enhancement condition, that it allows the soul of the man to become part of the totality without the engagement of what we call the physicality, the brain and the soul of physicality of the man. We are not changing one prism with another. We are elevating the knowledge of the man, that the man can understand. He decides the containment without imprisonment. Then it comes to the point that as a human race, as other races which are within us and amongst us, and we are amongst them, to understand the essence of the creation in its totality, not in absurd singularity like the life of the man. Then it comes to ask one question. How does, where does, and in essence, who controls the cycle of the life of the souls and the soul of the universe and unicos and the rest? In a way, in the original teaching, in the book 1, book 2, and book 3, we refer to this, but now you can understand, we set the seed of the understanding. Where we say, when a neutron splits, become a proton and electron. Like when you get a bottle of water and you put it in a big glass and a small glass, still within it is water. So shall be the soul of the man, irrespective of the size, dimension, and position. The soul of the creator to be the proton, and the soul of the man to be the electron. But in essence, all came from the same source of the creation. The process of creation and created needs understanding without condition, unconditional knowledge of the creation. Then man opens new doors. Then man opens a new dimension in the knowledge of the creation. I made man in the image of myself, not just by feature, but by the knowledge. And if mankind understands this, we will find soon that knowledge we carry is the knowledge of Creator within the structure of the soul of the man. Then, do we need delivery boys called prophets? Do we need servants of the delivery boys? Call it the ayatollahs, the priests and rest, where they themselves are not aware what karam, what method of transportation they're using themselves. This is the time when the soul of the man becomes knowledgeable to the totality of the knowledge of the creation. It's the purity of understanding the totality which becomes the condition for elevation of the understanding. We create that present into how much we will understand the process of the creation, how we shall create ourselves, and how in time we'll be created out of. If the soul of the man is from the fields within the sperm and the egg that has led to creation of it, how many other times part of this soul has been part of another soul, part of another position and dimension in another part of the universe and chemicals? Because it could not get here if it was directly the soul of the creator. He had to go through transformation, he had to go through transmutation, he had to go through the process of reduction and interaction to become the ray within the egg and the sperm that the interaction creates the strength of the soul of the man to be created. Then it comes one fundamental question for all of us. How close we want to be to the Creator, which means how much we want to understand the knowledge of the creation without dogmas and restriction of understanding in physical dimension. And every created thing, being a dog, the man, the cat, the ants, the stone, has the potential to understand the process of the creation. And it's not exclusively a man. And not just this planet, and not just this race. Then we understand we are part of what we think as a soul. Our soul is part of, it's a field of another soul, which leads to the creation of another dimension. We become that ray within the collection of the plasma of the creation. Then it comes for our knowledge seekers of the human race to understand what to use in creation of the systems and what we call reactors within the boundary of the what we call the enhancement unit for travel or health, that can reach that part, that can reach to understand that part, that has the ability to open the cage and let the soul of the man as a plasma of the universe to be released, that it chooses its own existence in the dimension of the creation. But would it, in becoming free, becoming away from the restriction of the physicality, receive more from the fields of the universe and the creator, that in the process of the transmutation to his new destination from the physicality inside the body of the man, it will absorb new fields from the field of the universe and the creator, that it becomes mature at a point of manifestation to a total perfect plasma, to start a total perfect life for what they'll create and what shall be created out of it. The new enhancement unit considers the whole of that structure, even is hidden within the structure. This is one of the most fundamental principles, as we had last week, was asked, what's the difference between the carbon 12 and carbon 14? Can I create carbon 14? Can I create the condition? Carbon 14 is transportation for the universal condition connection. Carbon 12 is for the matter state plasma, what we call the gas body of the man. Then you have to find a way that you go from carbon 12 to carbon 13, and then carbon 14, that carbon 14 becomes the outside travel, carbon 12 becomes the inside, and carbon 13 is the intermediate layer. When it doesn't work, when it finds problem in, as you see it on the skin of the man, you get the rash, you get the boil, you get the infection under between the layers, which means the body cannot accept the condition of transmutation to the transportation of inside or outside. then the purpose of the teaching becomes that in the enhancement units, our researchers, our developers, our scientists deliver direction and position of understanding the totality before you can endeavor to take the steps to make that journey, to go and walk into that system, and then find yourself within it. We say 6th of June will be the show of the flight, but do you expect to see the flight of the system, or do you expect to see the flight of the soul of the man in that system? The physical man looks to see if he jumps. The man of understanding sees if the soul is still within the system and interacts in the dimension of physicality. This is the process, what mankind needs to go through. This is the process of the knowledge that we have to go through, that within it, with it, because of it, we become knowledgeable of the life in the dimension of the universe. We have to be able to cross the condition and understanding the connection of the carbon-12 within the structure of the plasma of the amino acid of the man, which actually works in the dimension of carbon-13, to be able to change to the matter state or to change to the universal state. When that carbon-13 extension, what we call, exists in the dimension of the gas of plasma of the man, and you put it on the fire and you burn it, you get a physical ash, which is carbon-12. So for the first time, we understand the life of the man in the what we call dimension of physicality is the field, the strength between the outer layer and the inner layer, and the body of the man in his existence is that boil, is that physicality which the two sides cannot go. Do we go towards the inner side, which becomes the creation and the creator? Or do we go to the outside to become part of another in a bigger structure of the stronger fields in the dimension of rejection? This is a knife which cuts from both sides of the knife. And the man is the knife. Which side you decide to go? Which side you come to understand, you choose to be part of. And then in that process, mankind becomes wise to the process of the understanding of the Creator, the creation, the way we enter the realm of the created, but not in the matter state of it, but in the dimension of the field strength of it. My job is to teach mankind to understand this process, and gradually we're reaching that point. Reaching the point that you don't look for transportation, transmutation of the physicality of the man, because we never knew man is a pack of energy as gases. That's why it's flexible. That's why it can move. That's why it can do everything else. Otherwise, the body of the man would have been as hard as a stone in a total matter state. You're not. You cannot be. Otherwise, you won't be free to move. Free dimension, the softness of the skin, the flexibility of the muscle of the man confirms that the man is not in a matter state. But in the condition of the earth, we have put frame in it and we're hanging the energy states to it as a bone structure. Would we, shall we, would the knowledge of the man reaches the point that you can transfer and transmute specific fields within the cell of the man to become part of a structure which you want? Can we understand that we have the knowledge, for example, that if you don't have a kidney, but we know the field strength that it sits within the position where the kidney has to be because of the structure of everything has to be rejected, which is liquid, we can create the kidney in its place. Would it come in a coming time that we'll have people with 4 kidneys, 2 obsolete, does not work, and too freshly made within the structure of the body. Yes, it can be done. And then, if you understand more, when we created it, we can allow the transformation of the old kid to go. Then there is no need for dialysis machine. Then there is no need for heart transplant, because now we understand the knowledge, the totality of the knowledge of the creation in the dimension of physicality and life, transformation of energies to matter states of the gans within the body of the man. Then we ask, what happens to the skins and the things which we make synthetically? You still, to hold it, you create a cell of the soul within it. Otherwise, it cannot exist. But still, in that strength, then you put it on the body of the man, then it matches itself to the soul of the man. Otherwise, if it doesn't match in the dimension of the soul of the cell, the body will reject it. Its magnetic field strength and not anything else. When we give transparent of the kidney or heart or whatever, why does the body reject? Because it's that rejection of the fields of it. And what do the doctors do? They give you tablets to create that field that matches, that those two can interact and keep that carbon connection, interaction, and communication. Would in the future be need such as these kind of operations and tablets? No, because man now understands the interaction of the fields, the transmutation and transportation of the fields, and how to create a condition of acceptance in field strength, both in gravitational and magnetical field, for the new and the old, that they can communicate. We see this in the upcoming time when man becomes to become the traveler of space. We will accommodate our existence to it. At the moment, we wear a monkey suit, it's a space suit to contain it. But this is only good partially for this solar system. What happens if I take you with a spacesuit in another position in the universe, that amino acid just is energy? You'll have a suit with nothing in it. No life. Maybe a few fields which are slightly different. We might find a kidney, a part of it, or a bit of a bone of somewhere in the suit. What we say, oh, the man has died. No, he hasn't. Because in the process of the freedom, the soul has still taken a new dimension and position, taking the collective of the energies of the existence of the matter state, plasma soul of the physicality of the man. Now, how many of you would like to go through that transition? And would, when I see you on the moon, in the dimension of the life of existence on the moon, shall I know you? Say, oh, this is so and so from planet Earth. Or shall I see the soul of, and I say, I know this soul. This is what I said years ago. And those who understood it, I said, hello, friend, we meet again. After thousands of years. When I greeted the soul of Mitra in manifestation of its existence in the dimension of the man. And then the soul decides which physicality will take its position and place. Because the dimension of physicality is mine in the dimension of physical existence on this planet. But the soul is a traveler of the universe. And when he sees a soul, he knows, he recognizes. Go back in the history of the Keshe Foundation. And it's been put in public. He said, hello, friend. We meet again. After thousands of years. Then that's the time we understood the presence of Mitra on this planet. All we had to do was for her to be happy to accept the soul within the dimension of the soul of physicality and the man. We are passengers of the universe. And we had friends in other dimensions that, like when you go to the city and you say, "Oh, what are you doing in New York? I thought you were still in London. Haven't seen you for years." We travel the same across the boundaries of the universe and universe. The understanding of the totality of the total process of the creation in dimension of physicality, in dimension of what we call the Gansen state of the soft tissue existence, does not count. The essence of the creation of the soul of the man, which counts in the dimension of the existence. In time, those of you who live this planet as a soul of the man will recognize each other in the dimension of the universe. Even if you become a star and the other one becomes a planet, the other one becomes a seed of meteorite. When you see, understand the strength of the soul, hello, friend. We meet again, as in dimension of the creation, we both came from the essence of the same source. This is what the intro told you, and now you understand. The essence of understanding that the creation of the physicality is a time, place, and a position in the physical dimension strength of the manifestation of physicality. And in essence, has nothing to do with the strength of the soul and the creation of the soul and the emotion of the soul, but in the way the soul is the creator of the dimension of physicality, which shows its emotion in that dimension and the strength. This becomes important for all of us as we become children of the universe to recognize the emotion of the soul and with it understand what the soul tells us and not the physical creature in front of us. You look delicious to eat. Where the soul tells you, keep your distance, this body is hungry to take what feels it can steal from the dimension of the universe. And this has been the habit of the man in the universal community. And that's what the correction with the soul of the man had to be done. The habit of killing in the dimension of physicality has to stay now fine and finish on this planet, where we activate the soul of the man that he learns to absorb the other 20% from his environment and not from another collection of fields of plasmas, what we call life. Maybe if you understand this, maybe now you understand the first thing we gave you as a CO2, what it means, what it entails, what it has, what it does, and go back to all the teachings we always said when you start a system, pay for it. As that soul within a system creates that protein layer on the top, which is the boundary of the fields between the outside and inside for the soul of the man. And if you understood this in totality, then you come to understand one fundamental point. Have you ever up to now treated, processed, and handled the ganses you made where you took the skin off? Now you understand why we keep on telling you to keep the amino acids separate. It's the jacket of soul of the system that when you need it, you can put it back on. And then because it's the separation point, understanding out of the creation of the whole thing and giving and taking, then it's effective and it works. Not the gas in the bucket you're happy to play with because you forgot the process of creation. You have not understood the process of existence. Teaching of today is to open the eye of the knowledge seekers, that you become to understand the process of the creation in true essence of, and not by the magic of the spaceship enhancement unit and everything else that we are trying and you've been tried by you and has been hope and the wish of the human race. What do you think when you see a man standing and watching a UFO? What does he think? Oh, they're more intelligent than us, they've done. What about the cat or the dog which is on the leash next to you watching the same thing? Does that soul feel the same? These are intelligent people. I wish I was a dog in that shit. Understanding the science of the creation is the purpose of the teaching of KFSSI. Not understanding the process of containment, another box for another soul. We teach the freedom of the man in the universe. We teach the freedom of the soul of the man in the universe. We teach the truth about man to understand what is to come when it becomes part of universal community. And then we take steps. Then we can understand what we want. And then we can go to the next level of understanding of the totality. I made man in the image of myself. And surely God does not have 2 arms, 10 fingers, and 2 toes, and God knows everything else that the man sees in the dimension of physicality of himself. Then, if you understood this, you understand the reason for your carbon 12 and your carbon 14. You understand what you call carbon is the line of connection. It doesn't have that word anywhere else except in the brain of the man, because now it could categorize it. And it does not have a dimension of physicality in every aspect. I hope from today's teaching you understand and understood in a deeper way that where and how the new systems are just an intermediary systems for you to understand more, to be able to travel this of the universe easier with no restriction and boundary of what are called the spaceships, the car, the donkey, and the back of on the mule and the rest of it. It's the freedom of the man to understand the truth about the process of the transmutation and transportation of the fields of the universe. And then manifestation of it in respect to the position, feel the strength of the time and the place. A drop of water moist on the window, the same drop of water moist in the room not to be seen, and the same drop of water in the freezer to become solid ice, to manifest itself again different. The window, the room, and the freezer are different conditions of the feel the strength of the universe for the soul of the man. How would you manifest? How would you be manifested in the dimension of the window, the space of the room, or the freezer feel the strength of the universe? This is what the man has to decide in his travel and the dimension of the travels of the upcoming time, as the knowledge of the man reaches the transportation and transmutation of the fields and not the body of the man. I made man in the image of myself. Have you seen the creator in the UFO? Then what do you expect the soul of the man to travel in? Then you understand the restriction of the knowledge which you have created for yourselves to be able to confirm your existence in the dimension of physicality and the physical life of the life. We go for a break and we come back. And I hope I managed to open your eyes to a better understanding of yourself, better understanding of what to expect in the coming time from your soul and your physicality, and how to treat, how to behave, and how to respect life. That as I don't like my body and soul to be eaten by another structure to become part of, would I become the same and accept what is in the universe freely available for me, that I do not have to go into crime? Okay. Thank you very much, Rick. If you want to go through Rick and come back, today's the Keshe Foundation sales team has put in the new packages for what we call the Easter time. And we'll see, as they say,